On September 2001, the world watched in horror as 4 hijacked planes struck the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania. These flights became symbols of unimaginable terror, their stories etched into history and memorials. The official narrative focused on these 4 planes, detailing the failures that allowed the attacks. But that morning, thousands of other flights were in the air, as the FAA ordered an unprecedented nationwide ground stop. Amid the chaos, stories surfaced of other flights experiencing suspicious events, stories often overshadowed by the main tragedy. One such story is United Airlines Flight 23, which has become central to the so-called fifth plane theory. While the world's attention was fixed on the main attacks, the crew and passengers of Flight 23 faced their own quiet drama. Their experience raises chilling questions about what else might have been planned that day. United Airlines Flight 23 was scheduled to depart JFK for Los Angeles on the morning of September 11th. Passengers settled in, unaware that the world outside was changing by the minute. As the crew prepared for takeoff, news of the attacks began to spread, but the full scale was not yet clear. Captain Tom Manello and First Officer Carol Timmons began taxiing toward the runway. Suddenly, air traffic control relayed the FAA's order. All flights grounded, returned to the gate. Confusion and frustration filled the cabin as passengers were deplaned into a terminal, descending into chaos. News reports confirmed the attacks, and the initial annoyance turned to shock and fear. Flight 23's journey ended before it began, but the story was just starting, fueled by the crew's observations. They had come within minutes of taking off into a sky that had become a war zone. What happened next would spark years of speculation. The theory that Flight 23 was a potential fifth target began with the flight attendants' sharp instincts. They noticed a small group of men in first class, nervous, avoiding eye contact and behaving oddly. One attendant reportedly saw a box cutter, an unsettling sight even before new security rules. Among them, one man stood out. He wore a hijab that covered everything but his eyes, clearly pretending to be a woman, yet his large stature and hairy hands gave him away. Before leaving the plane, he asked a flight attendant if the White House had been hit. When the flight was cancelled, these men became agitated and confrontational, unlike other passengers. After deplaning, the men disappeared into the chaos of JFK, never to be identified. The crew's detailed reports to United and the FBI formed the basis of the enduring suspicion that Flight 23 narrowly escaped becoming another target. The FBI's massive investigation after 9/11 focused on the 4 hijacked planes, but also followed up on thousands of leads, including the crew's testimony from Flight 23. Agents interviewed the crew, but the official 9/11 Commission report made no mention of a fifth plane plot. The Commission concluded the attacks involved only the 4 known flights. Yet, the crew's consistent accounts have kept the story alive, fueling speculation. Were the men simply agitated travellers, or did authorities miss a critical piece of the plot? The identities of the suspicious passengers remain unknown, leaving the story in a grey area between official history and eyewitness testimony. Adding to the suspicion, 2 box knives were discovered on a sister aircraft, with a tail number just 1 digit off from Flight 23. An unsettling detail that deepened the mystery. On a day of chaos, some questions may never be answered. The story of Flight 23 matters because it humanizes the chaos and near misses of that day. It highlights the vigilance and professionalism of flight crews, who serve as the first line of defense in the sky. The enduring mystery reminds us that history is more than official reports. It's shaped by countless individual experiences. The persistence of the fifth plane theory reflects our need to understand the full scope of that day's terror. Whether or not Flight 23 was targeted, its story is a sobering reminder of how much worse the tragedy could have been. It honors the quiet courage of those who acted on instinct and training. In the end, Flight 23's story is not just a footnote, but a vital chapter in the history of 9/11s. It underscores the fragility of safety, the importance of vigilance, and the enduring human spirit that brought thousands safely home.